Hello everyone and welcome to this virtual accommodation event. My name's Ros and I'm a manager at the residences team here at the University of Southampton. Thank you very much for logging in this afternoon. Today we're going to start off with a talk, then we're going to move across to a live tour of some accommodation, a video of another hall, then a live question and answer session with residences staff and some of our student ambassadors. If you've been to one of our on-campus events before, thank you very much, and I'd like to assure you that the content of this talk is a little different to what you've heard before, so do please stick with us. Choosing where to live while studying at the university is a big decision. We want you to enjoy Southampton as your new home and for your family to be comfortable knowing that you've chosen a safe and welcoming environment to live. So the very fact that you are attending this event, this means you've already received an offer of a place from Southampton. And you'll also hopefully know that if you put Southampton as your firm or your insurance choice on UCAS and you apply for accommodation before the 1st of August 2022, we guarantee you a room in our university accommodation. My plan for today is to recap on some of the key information about our accommodation, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the next step, which is how you apply. You can always find out about accommodation options by visiting our website. The link is on your screen. We have information on each hall site, its location and facilities, the room types available there, including carousels of images for each one, information on how to apply, specific pages for international students and family accommodation, and our terms and conditions. With more than 6,000 rooms on 7 sites, we offer a variety of accommodation options to suit different needs and budgets. We have 6 sites in Southampton and 1 in Winchester. Our accommodation is spread across the city and each site offers something unique. All of our rooms are single, which means you will have your own room. We don't have any shared rooms. Student safety is one of our highest priorities. All of our residences have multi-level entry systems with keys or electronic key fobs. Our security team patrol university accommodation 24 hours a day, and CCTV cameras are also located across our sites. University life is about more than studying. It's about people, new experiences, and making memories. We aim to make your time in halls one of those memories, a place where you connect with others, make friends, and have a great time. And our student ambassadors will talk more about this later on. All of our university accommodation options include internet access, personal possessions insurance, all of your utility bills, and a free citywide bus pass. The exact cost of accommodation varies, however, depending on the type of accommodation you choose and also the contract length, but also a number of other factors. The price you pay depends on whether or not food is included, whether the bathroom is en suite or shared, and the facilities that the room offers. So we have different grades. We have standard, enhanced or enhanced plus, which indicate the quality of the room. Standard rooms are perfectly comfortable, well equipped. Enhanced rooms offer a little something extra, which may include a bigger bed, fewer people sharing facilities or bigger kitchens, and enhanced plus rooms, which offer even more. These are recently refurbished rooms with bigger beds, modern bathrooms and big sociable kitchens. Now, do you wish to cater for yourself or would you prefer to have meals cooked for you? Think about this before you apply. Self-catered means you cook for yourself. Kitchen facilities are shared between you and the other members of your flat. The kitchens are big enough for the number of residents in the flat and contain equipment such as ovens, hobs, fridges, freezers and microwaves. Part-catered means meals are included in your rent during term time. You get a breakfast and a dinner on Monday to Friday, a brunch is provided on Saturdays and a lunch on Sundays. You can use your catering credit on campus at lunchtime if you'd rather do that than have dinner in your hall. Part-catered halls tend to be very sociable as the residents see each other at meal times and really get to know who lives in their hall. There can be a great sense of community, and the food is really good too. We know that students are increasingly health conscious and the meals on offer are a far cry from school dinner boiled veg and grey mash. Meals are provided from a variety of cuisines and different dietary requirements can be provided for. Examples of meals available this year include Mexican slow-cooked cinnamon beef, sweet potato falafel with chili sauce, Greek salad and a gluten-free wrap, and lamb tikka masala. When you apply, consider how long a contract you will need. Most undergraduates don't need any longer than 40 weeks, whereas most postgraduates need 51 weeks. Our standard contract length is 40 weeks. This starts in late September, just before Freshers' Week, and ends on the 1st of July. This is when most private rented house contracts begin, so that means you can just move your belongings from your room and halls into your second year accommodation. Our 38-week contract finishes a couple of weeks earlier, just after the end of term, so you may need to move home for 2 weeks before you can move into your next house if you pick that one. Our 36-week contract ends on the 1st of July, but excludes the 4-week spring vacation period, and you do have to move out completely during that time. 51-week contracts are most suitable for postgraduates, but some undergraduates also choose them. For example, if you don't have a home address that you can easily return to during the summer, or if you plan to work in Southampton over the holidays. If you're not sure, it's always better to choose a shorter contract, as you can book a room during the summer holidays if you need to. Bookings for 2022 will open on Monday, the 4th of April. You will receive an email reminder, and if you have confirmed Southampton on your UCAS application, then you can make your application. Logging onto the accommodation portal for the first time might sound daunting, but it's really quite easy, and we've written a step-by-step how-to guide to help you. You can save your application at any time and pick up again later. You will need to choose a minimum of 3 preferences and a maximum of 5. Choose from all the things we've talked about: location, room type, contract length, catering, and there are also options for additional preferences. These include things such as quieter lifestyle flats. People who consider themselves to be quiet live with others who consider themselves to be quiet, with the aim of putting like-minded people together. Alcohol-free flats are for people who agree not to drink or store alcohol in their flat. Single gender accommodation, where the kitchen is shared by people of the same gender. And LGBTQ+ accommodation, which is new for this year. Our Students' Union told us that for the LGBTQ+ community, with everything you have to think about when coming to university, worrying about whether you'll be accepted for who you are can add another level of stress to that experience. We of course expect our large and diverse halls community to be kind and respectful of each other's differences, but as a result of that feedback, we've made some flats available for students from the LGBTQ+ community who think that will be beneficial to them. Depending on whether you're a new undergraduate or postgraduate, whether you'll be studying in Southampton or Winchester, the rooms that you can apply for will be different. The system only shows you the room options that are suitable for you based on your student type. If you have any specific accommodation needs, then please tell us. There's a section at the end where you can add anything else you would like us to consider when allocating your accommodation. There'll be an application form you can choose which guarantees you your first preference from a limited set of options. This is a great option if you want to remove the uncertainty of whether you will get exactly what you've asked for. If what you want is listed in the options in that application, you will be offered it. You only have to make one choice, as we will offer that to you. If the accommodation that you want isn't on that guaranteed application form, it likely means it's something that's usually very popular, and so we can't guarantee to be able to offer it to everyone who applies for it. We would always recommend that you make your application as varied as you can and put 5 preferences if at all possible. This helps us to work out what's most important to you if we're not able to offer you one of your top preferences. However, we are usually able to give people one of their top preferences. In recent years, we've managed to give over 90% of applicants one of their top 3 preferences. After the 1st of August guarantee deadline, you can still apply for halls, subject to availability. The accommodation guarantee no longer applies and the room options available to you will be very limited. So I would really strongly recommend you apply as soon as you can, so you know it's done and dusted. It doesn't cost anything, and if your plans change and you decide not to come to Southampton in 2022, your booking will be cancelled without penalty. We will also have an application form for students with additional needs, which shows which halls have adapted rooms. Our disability and inclusion team will also want to hear from you to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to access your classes on campus, and though we work very closely with them to ensure our accommodation meets the requirements of those who have additional needs, it's always really helpful if we know about any adaptations you may require earlier rather than later. These might include things like bedrooms and bathrooms adapted for wheelchair access, hoists, vibrating fire alarms for students with hearing difficulties, electronic call points and electric doors. There's a big notes box at the end of the application form where you can write anything that we need to know, and more detail is always better. If your additional needs relate to placement within a flat, for example, some neurodiverse students may request a quiet location within a quieter lifestyle flat, and some students require ground floor or level access, but otherwise no other adaptations. You may find the room type you want on one of the other application form pathways, but again, please let us know of anything we need to take into account when allocating you in your application notes at the end of the form. So what to do next? Well, the first thing is to go to our application portal. The link is on the slide. You will also have it in an email. Step 2, register to apply for halls. A guide for how to do this can be found on our website. You do need to have accepted your offer of Southampton as either your firm or your insurance choice before you can do that. Once applications open on the 4th of April, step 3, you can select your hall's preferences. 3 to 5 choices, please. 5 would be better. Step 4, add any additional notes and medical information if applicable. As I said, there is a big notes box at the end of the application form. Please use it. Step 5, complete the application process by the 1st of August. This is to be covered by that guarantee of a place in halls. Step number 6, we will make you an accommodation offer within 2 weeks of you making your application. So do check your application status on your application portal. Step 7, you will have a short period of time to accept that offer. That period of time will be specified in your accommodation offer email, so make sure you check it and make sure you accept the offer within that deadline. And then you're done. Once you've accepted your offer, you may not hear from us for some time, but don't worry. We will be in contact later in the summer with all the necessary information about everything you need to know about arriving and joining our amazing residences community. So I want to say thank you for your attention there and to reiterate those vital key dates. Applications will open on the 4th of April 2022 and the deadline to be covered by the accommodation guarantee is the 1st of August 2022. There's lots of information on our website and the address is on screen there now. As I said, we've got information about all the different room types, the different halls. There are lots of pictures of the accommodation. If you click on the different halls, you'll see a facilities tab, a location tab and a room types tab. If you click on that and then click on the rooms, you'll see a little box with 9 little dots on it. Click on that and a whole carousel of images appears. If you have any questions, email us at accommodation@soton.ac.uk. That's accommodation@soton.ac.uk. And finally, before we go to the live tour, there will be another opportunity to visit campus and actually look at our accommodation in one of our spring campus tours or later in the summer when our open days recommence. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm going to stop sharing my presentation now. And we will be going across to Raymond, who's going to give us a live tour of Glen Eyre.
Hello everyone, my name is Raymond and welcome to my live tour of University of Southampton accommodation. Some of you unfortunately didn't get the chance to see the accommodation when you came down to see the university. So what we're going to be doing today is doing a little tour of the University of Southampton accommodation. When I lived in halls, I lived in Wessex Lane, Montefiore. But today we're going to have a look at Glen Eyre accommodation. We're going to have a look at an ensuite room, a non-ensuite room, and then I'll be joined by 3 students and where you'll get the chance to ask them questions about their experiences living in halls. Of course, there's so much to consider when you're applying for halls. There's over 6,600 rooms located over 7 different sites, and we're going to help you today start making those choices, start getting you thinking about all the different things. The tour is live and designed to be as if you were here right now with me at Glen Eyre Halls of Accommodation to experience the sights, sounds of the halls. So please sit back, relax and enjoy this tour.
3, 2, 1.
Hello. So our first flat that we're looking at is an ensuite flat. So this flat typically holds 6 people. Right? So first we'll have a look at the kitchen. So this kitchen, like I just mentioned earlier, accommodates 6 people. So as you can see, there's plenty of storage space for all of the different food that you have. And it's very convenient as well. You can put a padlock on this to keep it nice and secure. So you can keep all your food tucked away. So we've also got a hob as well. And all of our kitchens come with these 3 things I'm just about to mention. So your hob, And of course, you've got an oven as well. You've got a microwave for you to, very, very convenient when you want a lazy night and just want to make some pot noodles. And of course, you've got a fridge here as well. Typically, when you move in, everyone typically just assigns themselves a row and just keeps their stuff nice and separated out, right? And then you've got a freezer as well. So our top tip typically is hold off on buying kettles. Otherwise, if all of you bring a kettle, you have 6 kettles, and that's a lot of cups of tea to be drinking. So just keep that in mind. And in terms of mugs, glasses, plates, cutlery, those are all things that you should obviously consider when you're deciding on what to bring to the accommodation. In terms of part-catered accommodation, we sadly aren't showing you a part-catered accommodation today, but just keep in mind that the kitchen will, of course, be like this, but just smaller in size. So you'll still have a hob, and you'll still have a smaller fridge and just little things that you can use to be able to make a small snack for yourself, all right? So what we're gonna do next is, we had a look at where you eat, now let's have a look at where you sleep. So we're gonna have to go have a look at the bedroom. All right, so this is our ensuite bedroom. So all the bedrooms come with a desk. So as you can see here, we've got a nice spacious desk here. Then we've got a notice board for yourself as well, so you can pen all your revision up as well. Makes it a little bit more efficient if you want to work in different ways. You've also got, of course, you've got your bed here for where you'll be doing plenty of sleeping, I'm sure. And as you can see, there's actually quite a lot of storage space. So as you can see here, we've got a bedside cabinet. And we've also got drawers here where you can put all of your textbooks and materials, all right? But of course, you also obviously need somewhere to put all of your clothes. So we got a wardrobe just here as well. So of course, you want to keep that nice and tidy and tuck it all away. And of course, the star of the show in an ensuite bedroom is, of course, the bathroom. So this is the bathroom that you get in Glen Air ensuite. So as you can see here, you've got your sink and your toilet. And I'll just step out so you can see the shower. So again, in an ensuite bedroom, this is all your own, so you get to keep this bathroom. It's all for you. No one else can use it. And of course, some people, when they come to halls, they always hear this all the time on our tours, is that they couldn't possibly dream of having to share a bathroom with other people. But actually, what I'll show you is a non-ensuite flat, and you'll see that our non-ensuite accommodation is just as comfortable as our ensuite accommodation. The bathroom is really, really nice, and you typically only have to share with around 3 to 4 people, so no more than you would be sharing at home. So in actual fact, like I just said, they're very, very comfortable. So we're gonna have to go have a look at that in just a second, all right? Woo, follow me. So that brings us to the end of our ensuite bedroom.
Recording, ready when you are.
Hi everyone. So when you're living in Glen Air halls of accommodation, you get loads of different extra facilities that are available to you. So right now we are in the main hall. The main hall has so much going on. You've got a music room, a cinema room, a study room, a common room, and even a hall that's used by societies on a regular basis. So there's so much going on here, and that's not even counting the gym. So if you're considering, working out while you're here at the university, that might be something you might want to factor into your applications when you think about different accommodation sites. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have a look at the common room and we're going to have a look at the music room, 2 different facilities. All right. So first we're going to have a look at the common room. So if you just follow me, we'll have a look at the common room. So the common room, you don't need to book out. It's completely available to anyone to use that lives in Glen Air halls. And inside the common room, we've got loads of TVs and we've got loads of different games that you can play. So on my right, as you can see here, there's loads of storage space. So loads of places for you to sit down, chill out with your friends, or even study if that's what you want to do. Then on my left, we've got a massive TV here, so you can see, so that's available for you to use. It's really intuitive. There's a HDMI port, so you can connect your laptop. So if you want to play on the PlayStation, or you want to play Mario Kart on the Switch, you can do that here. At the same time, if you want to watch England play Germany, that's also really, really easy to sort out. At the very back of the room as well, we've also got some pool tables and table tennis as well. So if you want to play those, you can rent those equipment out from the reception too. On my right, we've got the hall as well, and the hall is used regularly by different societies. So what I would say to you is keep a good eye out. There's always something going on at all the different halls of accommodation. We try and keep it fun here at Southampton. So there's Easter egg hunts that happen all the time, or a society might put on a different pizza night, or they might put on a cultural night where you get to try all sorts of different food. So next we're going to have a look at is the music room. So the music room is available to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're musically gifted or you're not musically gifted like I am. You can book it out, and you can book it out through reception, and your fob will allow you to have access to the music room. The music room is as well fairly soundproof as well, so you don't have to worry too much about everyone hearing you play away. And at the same time, this also allows you to have somewhere else more private to play your instruments. That's not your room. Inside the music room as well, there is a piano, so if you want to practice playing on the piano, you can use that too. All right, so just over here, opposite the study room, we've got the music room. All right, so just in here, so as you can see here, it's a very spacious space. As you see, there's plenty of chairs as well. So if you want to invite your friends over to listen to you play, you can do that too. For all the other extra facilities that are available at Glenelg Halls of Accommodation, please have a look at our website for more pictures.
1, 2, ready.
All right, welcome back. Now it's time for us to look at our non-ensuite bedroom. So this is our non-ensuite flat. So we're gonna have a quick look at the bedroom, and then we'll have a look at the bathroom, all right? So just in here, we've got our non-ensuite bedroom. So as you can see, just like with the ensuite bedroom we saw earlier, you've got yourself a desk here. That's nice and spacious, bit of a different shape, but still a very, very nice desk. And then we've got a notice board here as well. Once again, you're able to pin up different things for yourselves too, okay? And then we've got a sink over here as well. So even though you don't have your own bathroom, you still do have a sink, so you can still brush your teeth, do your makeup, gel your hair, you can do all of that stuff still in here. It might be difficult to see through the video, but this room actually has a larger bed, so I'll stand more next to it so you can compare the size. So this is one of the customization options that you have on the accommodation webpage. So you can have a look at all the different things that we offer. So you can change things like the size of the room, the size of the bed, and there's loads more things that you can have a look at when it comes to applying. My top tip is have a look at the accommodation options now in anticipation of them opening for applications on the 4th of April, and match your priorities and see what you can, what you can find, what suits you best. So let's have a look at the bathroom next, all right? So of course, in the non-ensuite bedroom flat, you of course share a bathroom with other people. And as I mentioned earlier, it's 3 to 4 people you're typically sharing with. But as you can see, this bathroom is really, really nice. So again, you've got yourself a sink, so another sink just in case you want to brush your teeth and take a shower. And of course, you've got your toilet, and then you've got your shower here as well, okay? Okay, so, and that is our non-ensuite bedroom flat. So of course, there's so much to consider when you're wondering about, what should you be applying for? What should you do when it comes to accommodation? There's so many different things to consider. And whoever you ask, they'll tell you that their accommodation was the best for them. And that's perfectly okay to say. We're all biased toward our own accommodation because we had a really good time in them. But it's really, really important that you choose accommodation that suits you best. Do you want to be in the city center? Do you want to be in the hustle and bustle? Do you want to be next to the campus? Do you want to be able to roll out of bed and have a 10-minute walk to campus, nice and easy? Or do you want to be next to the sports grounds? So it's really easy for you to get involved in the many, many different societies that we have here at the University of Southampton. So these are all things that you want to think about. And at the end of the day, it's what is important to you that matters. So definitely have a look at our website and do have a look at all the different things that we have here on offer here at the University of Southampton.
Well, there's our beautiful new Enhanced Plus accommodation at Wessex Lane, and thank you to Raymond for his tour of Glen Eyre there. Now, while Raymond heads over to the cinema to interview some of our student ambassadors about their experiences in halls, the accommodation allocations manager, Kate, and I are going to answer a couple of questions that have come in already. So to kick us off then, Kate, the first question we have been asked is, do we allocate on a first come, first served basis? Are you able to give us an answer for that one?
Yes, Ros, I am, thank you. So no, we don't allocate students on a first come, first basis. There's lots to consider when we do allocate students, and we aim to create flats where residents are, allocated with students of a similar level of study, similar ages, but diverse in course of study, nationality and gender. So lots is considered when allocating. So rooms are not offered on a first come, first served basis due to the complexities of the allocation process. The University of Southampton will prioritise allocating a student into a flat with students where they're likely to enjoy living with the above, ensuring a student's first preference is met.
Thank you, Kate. Okay, we have, let's see, we have another question. Somebody has asked us, they have a medical condition and they have some specific requirements relating to that medical condition which their accommodation needs to have. Can you tell us a little bit about what such students should do? How do they let us know about their medical conditions and anything that they need to know, and how does halls work for that kind of situation?
So one of the key things, as you mentioned in your presentation, Ros, is to make sure that as much detail as possible is put in the notes section within the application. The allocations team review the notes very, very thoroughly, and we try the best we can do to accommodate the requests in these, though not always guaranteed. We work really, really closely with the disability and inclusion team here at the university to ensure that we work collaboratively to offer the room best suited to students' needs. So as well as putting as much information as you can on the notes section, I'd also recommend engaging with the disability and inclusion team prior to arrival, as they offer lots of supports to students transitioning into the university.
Thank you, Kate. Okay, another question that's come in, I will take this one because it's quite an easy one. Is Highfield Hall open again now? So this questioner has spotted that Highfield Hall wasn't open a couple of years ago. I'm happy to say that it will be open for the 22 to 23 academic year. This is a park catered hall very close to campus. It's a very beautiful hall. Some of you may have seen it on open days last year or earlier this year. So I'm happy to say that that is an option that you can choose on applications this year. OK, I'm going to pass another one across to you, Kate. So this one is, are you able to have guests over that aren't university students? What would be the answer to that one?
So you are allowed guests for short periods into halls. You have to write into halls at Sutton, which an email address you'll become very familiar with when you come to university, to advise if you are having a guest in halls for more than 7 days, but usually it's less than 7 days on the whole.
Brilliant, thank you very much. OK, let's see. I have a question about accommodation for nursing students. Kate, can you advise how many weeks of accommodation do nursing students need? Which contract should they apply for? Yeah,
so typically the standard undergraduate contracts do work for nurses. So that would be the 38 and the 40-week contracts, taking you up to the mid-June or the 1st of July. However, if you do have placements over the summer period, we do prioritise you for a place in halls as part of our summer accommodation, and applications tend to open around this time of year for students to apply for that.
Excellent, thank you very much. OK, now I understand Raymond has made it across to the other ambassadors, so I'm going to hand over to them now.
Thank you so much, Ross, and welcome back. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm now joined by 3 students who are going to be talking to us about their experience in halls of accommodation. So, if you don't mind, from my left, do you mind introducing yourself to our lovely audience?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Lewis and I stayed here at Glen Eyre Accommodation in my first year.
Hello everyone, I'm Becca and I was at Wessex Lane.
Hi, I'm Rishi and I stayed in Monty Halls in Wessex Lane.
Thanks so much, guys, for joining me today. So you've all, of course, lived in different halls. You all have different experiences. So starting from Rishi, do you mind telling us about what it was like living in halls for you?
Yeah, it was a really fantastic experience and a great opportunity to gain a bit of independence, meet loads of new friends. I really enjoyed the fact that there was so many different types of people from all over the country and across the world. And that includes people from different courses. It was a great opportunity to mingle and a real great community feel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And for Becca, for you, what was it like? Would you have the same kind of sense of community? Did you get that?
Yeah, definitely had the exact same experience as Rishi, but also with the bus pass that's included in your halls contract, it made for such, the journeys to and from campus were lovely because I was able to actually make sure and establish like friendships with people in my course who were also in my halls, which meant that I could then go around and pop around to theirs if I needed help with like a study question or an exam or an essay we were doing. And so just the flexibility of everybody living in such close proximity was amazing.
Yeah, I'm detecting a strong theme of friendship and community so far. So Lewis, following up, what was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to echo the statement said by Becca and Rishi, but I think for me, halls was a really nice intermediate step in terms of moving away from home for the first time and just getting that experience of the independent living. But at the same time, you're not going in stressing out about who's paying what bills, who's doing this, who's doing that. You're in a position with everyone who's living in the same position as you. They're all moving away for the first time, and it's just a great way of meeting people. You get really close to people. Both living with them is a great way of getting close to them, and also just the events and the community feel that goes on in halls. For example, I was doing so many different events and things when I was in halls. It was a great way of bringing us all together. And yeah, I had an amazing time when I was in halls.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit about events. So what kind of stuff goes on in halls?
Sure. So for me, there was just so many different things that brought us all together. I remember we had a petting zoo come up to this site here. And that was a great way of meeting people. We had cinema nights. I still remember the smell of the food now. Free barbecues, free pizza nights. And there was also the fancy dress competition that our flat won. We won another 3 pizza nights and that. So loads of events like that were put on. It was a great way of just bringing everyone together in the community. You know, a little bit of friendly competition on those events that really helped us mingle.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but going to those events can be quite daunting when you know, it's your first time going to university, your first time in halls. Becca, do you mind just telling us what's it like when you first get here?
Yeah, of course. I think when I moved to Southampton, it was such a welcoming environment. Like when we were able to book in a slot for me and my parents who came down with all my stuff, and we came in and there was a clear checkpoint where you picked up your keys and there was ambassadors around there, all like friendly and happy to help and directing me and my parents to my flat. And then from there, I was able to spend the rest of the day meeting the people I'd be living with for the next year, before then in the evening going to the freshers events that the student union held, and then just continuing to meet people both in my halls and in my block, which was lovely.
Oh, it's really, really nice to hear. I mean, now talking about those friendships and those memories, you know, Rishi, it might be difficult for you to look back and pick from all those different memories, but what was your favorite memory of halls?
So I would say one of them would be when we hosted an event at the Boiler House, which was a space in Wessex Lane that was a communal area, and we were able to bring in some external DJs and host an event with free pizza, and it was really nice to see lots of different students from different blocks coming together, catching up and meeting new people. And even to this day, in the last year, someone came up to me and said, "Oh, I remember meeting you actually at that event." And it was great to be able to put them on and just really get to know those people you're living amongst. And now the Boiler House has been revamped, and it's a really nice modern space where people can study, relax, and meet friends.
Oh, it's wonderful. I think everyone's going to be really, really, comforted to hear that. And so thinking about, the differences between all the halls, and, we mentioned in the tour that we've got almost 7 sites with over 6,600 rooms. It's a lot of choice. So how do you choose? What are the differences between some of the halls, Lewis?
Well, funnily enough, thanks for asking me. I stayed in Wessex Lane over summer, and the summer just gone, my house was being renovated. So I actually moved to Wessex Lane over summer, which I think was mentioned in the talk just then briefly. So I've had experience both there in Wessex Lane and here in Glen, and I've had lots of, I think there are similarities in them and also some differences. I think some of the similarities, obviously, they're both big hall sites, you're going to get that community feel, but at the same time, they have different types of accommodation. You've seen the video, you've seen that Glen Eyre has lots of variety in the accommodation that you showed, whereas Wessex Lane is probably a little bit more structured. At the same time, no matter where you stay, you're going to have a great time, and you'll always be biased about whichever hall site you've stayed in.
Exactly what I said earlier. But now thinking back to, when you first move in, we get this question quite a lot about what to bring to halls. Becca, can you give us a hand with that one?
Of course. Top tip for Southampton, don't bring your car. Unfortunately, there aren't any spaces to park unless you have accessibility needs. But also because you get the bus pass as well, don't you? Then that's what included. It's revolutionary. You can go from your halls all the way to campus, all the way to the city, and then all the way to the local shop if you need to go and get food. And they run all day, every day. So it's great. So yeah, no cars. But I think basic white appliances generally are provided by halls, but of course do check the websites. So things like a microwave, don't bring. And then finally, I think one thing, it's all the pernickety things you tend to forget. One thing I forgot in my first year was an airer to dry my clothes. So I spent a good week or so just hanging things on my wardrobe and trying to find somewhere to put them anywhere. So yeah, just don't worry too much because, there's an Argos, big Sainsbury's Argos, so you can get things you've forgotten. But at the same time, yeah, try and be thorough. Think about the details.
To round everything up together, Rishi, looking back, what would be the one thing that you wish you knew before you applied for accommodation?
I think it would be just grabbing every opportunity, not worrying too much and going with the flow. And I think, as Lewis mentioned, whichever halls you end up in, most people are always really, really happy. I've only heard really positive experiences from everyone, and I was really lucky to have the chance when my flatmates gave me a push in my first year to actually be the halls representative, and I ended up doing that for the whole of the uni's halls, and it took me to loads of different places. I got to meet so many other students, and that was a really rewarding experience that I got to have. So definitely just grasp all those opportunities and just go for it.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Now, I understand that we've been having a lot of questions coming in. Apparently, we've got over 100. So I'm going to hand back over to Roz and we'll start answering some questions, shall we?
Sounds good.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have a go answering some of this enormous list of questions. Please keep sending them in, and please use the like button to show us which ones you want us to answer the most. We'll answer as many of those ones on screen as we can, and then we have a team of accommodation staff furiously typing away trying to answer the rest of them at the same time. So use the like button to indicate which ones you want us to answer on camera, and the rest we will get through as many of them as we possibly can. We might have to do a kind of follow-up email with the rest in, but we have a lot to get through, so let's not delay any longer. First question, I'm going to take this one, is which halls have a catered option? This is Highfield Hall and Wessex Lane, the two halls that have a catered option. You will find those on the website. One that I'm going to pass to Kate. This one is, do I have to accept Southampton as my firm or insurance offer before I can apply for accommodation? Or can I do it the other way around? Kate, what is the answer to that one?
So as long as you have a conditional firm or insurance offer from the University of Southampton, you can apply for accommodation through our accommodation portal from the 4th of April.
Okay, thank you very much. Now then, I would like to hand one across to the ambassadors on the sofa. Do you live with people who are on the same course as you, or do you get mixed up? And can you choose to live with friends?
Oh, good question. Okay, so for the second part of that question, we might have to hand back over to you. But so Becca, answering that question, would you be able to answer that for us?
Of course. I believe that the people you live with is completely randomly allocated. So me in my first year, I lived with an engineering student, a maths student, medicine student, I'm history. You know, it was a right mix of people. But I think that's the better way to do things, because then you end up with two groups of people that you know. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, it is randomly allocated, which is nice.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have anything to chip into that? What was it like for you living with, different people?
Yeah, to be honest, it was something I didn't even consider before going to university, that I'd be living with other people, but it actually, as Becca said, it actually worked out a lot better for me. I'm still living with those people now. One's a geography student and I'm an engineer, and it was a great way of just meeting people and hearing about different cultures and what other people are enjoying.
Brilliant, thank you. Back to Ross.
Thanks, that was a really good answer. So if you want to live with friends, you can do that as a returning student. In your first year, that's not something that we can offer, just because it's nice to meet new people when you get here, and I'm sure you will be welcome. Okay, we have another question, which this one is going to be for Kate, which is, what do I do if I want to defer? So this is someone who's thinking that maybe they won't come this September, perhaps they'll come in 2023 instead.
Okay, so if you want to defer, well, you might not know yet, so I'd still encourage you to submit an application. As Ross said in her presentation, there is no financial penalty in your first year for a new undergraduate if you do, get sent an offer of accommodation, then change your mind. As long as you let the university know before arrival that you're not coming, we can withdraw your application, and then you can apply in the next academic year, and it'll be around the same time next year. So if you're coming in next year, and you just apply as we're encouraging you to do now.
That's great, thank you very much. This one back to the ambassadors. This is a question about laundry. How much does it cost to do your laundry? And tell us a little bit about doing laundry in a communal laundrette.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd happily answer that one. So Rishi, what's it like doing laundry in halls?
So it's quite an interesting experience because you're coming to a brand new location. You don't have, in the majority of cases, your parents to do it all for you. But it was, for me, it was a case of, I'd say once every week or 2 weeks, I'd have some time off, perhaps on a Wednesday afternoon or on the weekend. And in between lectures, there's generally a dedicated laundry space in each hall's site. So you can go there and use the facilities provided. And it would generally cost around £3.70 for a wash and dry off the top of my head. But when we go back to Ros, she can just confirm that. And I think it's quite nice actually, because it's again another space where you bump into lots of people and just have a chat in general.
Yeah, it sounds like my experience as well. I remember having to call my mum to work out how to use the washing machine. So Ros, how much is it for laundry?
I think the figures you quoted were about right. It adjusts slightly year on year with sort of inflation and that kind of thing, but yeah, it's about that kind of ballpark range. And I also remember it was a long time ago that I was at university, but I also used to bump into people in the laundrette. So yeah, it's another nice place to just randomly chat to people, isn't it? Okay, so we've got some questions about accommodation offers. Do we accept the offer for accommodation after results day? So after we've accepted the offer to study at Southampton. So I will take this one, give Kate a little break. We're going to make you an accommodation offer 2 weeks after you've submitted your application. So that means if you submit your application on the 4th of April, you're going to have an accommodation offer before the end of the month. And it won't cost you anything to accept it. It doesn't tie you into anything if you then decide not to come to Southampton. So if your course offer is conditional and on A-level results day, you open that envelope or look on your app or whatever you young people do these days, and you find that actually it's not gone quite to plan and maybe you're not able to come, no problem, we'll just cancel that offer for you. But if you open that envelope or whatever it is you do and you have got the grades and you're coming, brilliant, it's all sorted. You already know where you're going to live. You don't have to worry about waiting for more information. You already know what's going to happen. So you'll accept the offer for accommodation 2 weeks after you make your application. Right, let's see what else we've got in this ever-growing list of questions. These are really great questions, by the way. Do keep them coming in. I think this would be another one for the ambassadors, and it's a question about what the Wi-Fi is like in the accommodation. I should say my actual office is at Glenayre Halls. I'm on the Wi-Fi right now. I think it's pretty good. But what's your experience like as student residents?
Yeah, so the Wi-Fi in accommodation, we've got our good old trusty Edgerom. Lewis, would you like to take this question? You look keen for it.
Sure. So as an electrical engineer, a lot of my time was working with Wi-Fi. I can say it was, well, just the internet in general in halls is the fastest I've ever had, to be honest. I was talking to you earlier.
Yeah.
I was downloading things quicker than my hard drive could manage. In terms of if you want your internet speed, for me, I was hitting gigabit down and up here in halls, so far faster than you can ever imagine and would ever need. So short answer, but there you go.
Yeah. Is the coverage good?
Yes, you will find, if I remember correctly, each corridor has like 2 Wi-Fi points. So between the 6 or however many are in the flat, you've got 2 Wi-Fi points to completely cover your area.
Yeah, fantastic. There you go.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to send this one across to Kate. This one says, are you allowed to pick a specific room in a specific flat, or is it random when you choose that accommodation? Good old allocation question for the allocations manager.
So no, you can't pick a specific room, but you can, through picking a room type in your application and a site and a license type and catering level, that does narrow down the choices. However, you will find that there are many blocks across the sites with the same room types and things. So if there's anywhere specific, you can pop it in your notes section at the end, as I've mentioned before, the notes section. However, it's not guaranteed that we would be able to give you that block, but if we know that you're very interested in it, it's something we can explore for you. But no, we can't give specific rooms.
Great, thank you very much. Now I've gone and clicked something and I've got a menu that's covering the questions, so let me just try and get it so I can read them again. There we go. Isn't technology wonderful? Okay, this is a question for Raymond. Oh, I've lost it. Where's it gone? There it is. Where is the medical school and what accommodation is the closest to it? Can you give us an answer for that one, Raymond?
Medicine specific one. I guess I'm taking questions too now. Oh. So the medical school is actually located around a 15-minute to 20-minute bus journey away from Glenair Halls. So it's at the hospital. So if you look on Google Maps, you'll see the University of Hospital Southampton. So typically Glenair is probably the closest, but all of the accommodations are fairly well connected to the hospital where you'll be, of course, studying.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, let's see. This one. Okay, if I were not to choose non-drinking accommodation, or alcohol-free accommodation is what we label it as. If I were not to choose alcohol-free accommodation, would that mean my hallmates will be partying every week? Are there regulations to what students can and cannot do in halls, such as drinking? Kate, are you able to take that one? So
yeah, no problem. So if you don't choose an alcohol-free flat, the chances are that yes, your flatmates are likely to drink at time to time, I'm sure. Although it's hard to know whether there'd be a flat that party or not. We do have halls regulations that students sign up to. So when you accept your offer, towards the end, you've got terms and conditions and halls regulations that you sign up to, so that you know abide by our regulations whilst you're living with us. So yes, it's a hard one to know. Everyone's different within the flats. However, if you do find that you do end up in a flat that you're not happy with once you arrive, we've got lots of options available for you. So we have our room transfers process and supported room moves. So if you do find that you moved into a flat and people are partying more than you would like or things like that, then you can just engage with our services and we can support you to moving to an alternative room. But I don't think you'll find that's the case on the whole.
excellent, thank you very much, Kate. And that does overlap conveniently with another question about if you can move rooms. So yeah, we have a supported room move process. We aim to help you settle into your existing room before we just kind of let you move to somewhere that might not be any better. We really do want you to settle in before we go down that avenue. Right then, back to the ambassadors. A question about buses. How often do they come? Are they 24/7?
Oh, okay, good question. So, Becca, you know all about the buses, don't you?
The bus lady
is revolutionary.
It is.
So are the buses 24/7? How often do they come?
They are not, but they operate pretty frequently. There's several bus routes that run, all in from different bus routes to and from the airport to the city, But and whilst they don't run 24/7, they run from early morning late into the night. So kind of they'll get you, at least if you wanted to go out for the evening, they'll get you there. Coming back, the buses don't run. I don't think the night bus is a thing anymore.
So yeah, there's no night bus. However, on average at peak times, the ones that go to the city are around every 7 minutes. They run roughly to around midnight to 1 o'clock. But definitely, if you have a look at the Unilink website, all the timetables are there, and there's a really handy app now that actually gives you a real time tracker.
There you go, top tip.
Brilliant, thank you. And I say if you go to our accommodation website and look at the location tab on each of the individual halls, it tells you which bus routes serve the halls and links you up with all the times, so you can get a really good idea of how convenient it is for where you want to live. Okay, a follow-up question here is, can we get the bus pass if we choose not to stay in halls? You can purchase one. There are student rates, which are a little bit lower than the kind of, I'm trying not to say normal person rate, but you know what I mean, the public rate. So you can purchase them. Lots of second years do that when they're living in houses, but you only get the free one included in your halls fees. Okay, so another question here. How does it work if you don't get into the university that you applied for accommodation for? So at Southampton, you can apply for accommodation whether you've put us as your firm or your insurance choice. So that means if you don't get into your firm choice and we're your insurance choice, you're still covered. You've still got a place in halls. As long as you've made that application, I would say don't wait until after your A-levels have come out to find out where you're going to go and then make the booking with us. You can do it beforehand. As I said before, it doesn't cost anything. You can cancel without penalty if you do get into your firm choice. So if you've got Southampton as your insurance choice, apply for accommodation anyway. Then you know you're sorted there no matter what happens. That's not the case for most universities. That is something quite special that we can do. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Now we've got so many questions, we are going to close it now just so that we can work through the ones that we've got, and there's such a variety here. I hope that if you are thinking to ask a question, there will be something answered that you were thinking of. Okay, so this is a question about contracts for Kate. The accommodation contracts start on the 24th of September, but international students might need to arrive earlier than that. So what do they do? Can you give us an idea about that, please?
Of course, yeah. So if there's an academic reason, if your course starts a bit earlier, then we will have pathways on our application form to apply specifically for that. So that tends to be students on, say, a PGCE course, some medic courses, University of Malaysia students as well have a requirement to start a week earlier to do some engineering work pre-course start date. Other international students coming into halls, they usually register through the meet and greet service, which is a service offered by the University of Southampton and our international office, who arrange coaches to collect students from, I believe, Gatwick and Heathrow Airport and bring them down to university and university halls. And that tends to be on the Wednesday and Thursday prior to the intake weekend, which, the Saturday, Sunday. So that's a service that we offer. That is the earliest that we can usually receive residents into halls, because we have 51-week PG students who depart the weekend before the new students arrive. So we've got to have a chance to turn over the rooms and get them ready for the new students. So yes, it tends to be the Thursday and Wednesday before.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kate. Okay, questions for the ambassadors about social activities in halls. Are there lots of sports and societies you can get involved in? Which is the most sociable hall? And I love this question, what is freshers?
Ooh.
That's an excellent question.
That's a really, really good question. Rishi, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, so in terms of society activity and sport that you can get involved with, we have something called intramural sport, which actually is a way that you can get involved for free without any commitment to regular training, or you can decide how many matches you turn up to, and these groups will play in leagues, but it will be a halls-based or a course-based team. So for example, it could be Engineers Football or Glen Eyre Rugby, and they're a really good way to get involved and meet new people. And I always say you've got three main groups of friends that you'll probably end up with at uni, and one is your halls mates, one is your course mates, and one is those from your clubs and societies. The second bit there was about the most sociable halls. So from my perspective, I would say that between Wessex and Glen, there was very much an atmosphere of quite a community that we spoke about earlier. But having been to lots of the different halls as well, Archers Road is a very nice one because it's quite a dormitory style type of halls. Highfield Halls is quite small, and because it's part catered, you still mingle with lots of the others too, and it also depends on where you are. So Mayflower Halls is in the city centre. There's a big tower block there, and actually you've got quite a lot of you still have to all meet each other as you're leaving. So although it's all separate floors, there's still quite a communal atmosphere and lots of social ways to get involved socially. And the third part of that question, if you just remind me what it was briefly.
What is Precious?
What is Precious? I mean, I think we can probably all have a go at that.
Are we talking about Freshers as in the person or the Freshers Week?
Why don't we talk about all of it?
All of it. Okay. So Freshers, as a defining personality, shall we say, are the first years that join Southampton in our community. You will be known as the Freshers for your foreseeable future until you go into second year, which is just one of those things of uni. It's kind of a countrywide thing, and it's just a little nickname we give you. Freshers Week, on the other hand, is like your big introductory welcome to Southampton kind of party, meet everyone week. And there's no lectures apart from a couple of introductory lectures from your course, but generally it's a week where, you know, it's intended to make friendships and have fun and settle into halls and make yourself comfortable.
Yeah. And remember, here in Southampton, we have over 300 different societies, so you can look at the Students' Union webpage for all of those. We have a lot of things going on.
And just to quickly add to what Becca was saying in terms of Freshers Week, yes, Freshers Week is great for going out and things, but that isn't the be-all and end-all of it. There were so many things that I did in halls, some of those events, in fact. I remember going down to campus, we had mini golf, we had laser tag, we had roller disco, loads of things like that aren't drinking events. So don't worry if you're not a big drinker, you've still got loads of things in Freshers Week to get you involved. I just thought that was worth adding. So.
Very, very good point. Thank you very much for that. All right, back to you, Ross.
Great answer. Thank you, guys. Okay, we've got time for a couple more. We've got one here about Mayflower Halls, which we have neglected a little bit during this session, just by virtue of shortness of time, really. So the question is, what is Mayflower Halls like? Is it more isolated being in the city centre? I would say no, it's slap bang in the city centre, and there's over 1,100 residents there. So it is a very modern building. It was built in about 2014, I think. It's got lovely big rooms. Some of the rooms have got amazing views across the city. It's really convenient for going into town, for shops and for leisure. It's right by Southampton train station, so it's really easy to get to anywhere you need to be, and it's joined up by the bus network just like everywhere else is. So it's a really popular site. It's modern, it's bright, it's just in the middle of everything. So yeah, it's another great option. As we said, all of our halls have something unique about them. There's something for everyone. Okay, the one quick question, which I'm going to pass to Kate, which is, when do you pay for student accommodation?
Yeah, so you pay for your accommodation. We time it nicely in terms of instalments when you receive your student loans. So your student maintenance loans. So there's one payment in October. This is if you're on a typical 40 or 38 or 36 week contract, so undergraduate contracts. Payment in October, January and April. If you're on a 51-week contract as a postgraduate, then you have an additional payment on the 1st of July.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kate. OK, this is going to be our last question, and it's back to the ambassadors. And this person says, I'm a massive party animal. What is the best halls for me?
Well, as someone who knows the priorities, I guess. So, guys, they're a massive party animal. Where are they going? It's on the floor.
I mean, right, so it really is a case of you will find a place that works for you, and you will work out what places you like to go to, what types of nights out you like, and it might be in the Students' Union, it might be in the city centre or in the student high street, which is called Portswood. For myself, I preferred Portswood, and actually the ones that were near to there was Wessex Lane, which is where I happen to live. So for me, it worked really nicely, and I do like to go out and have a party and relax, so definitely relatable.
But alongside that as well, if you're a party animal, everything that going out with uni in Southampton isn't really kind of associated with the halls, and with the bus pass it doesn't really matter where you're living. You can get there really easily. Glenna, you walk down onto campus, you can get pretty much any bus route. I think they all congregate at Highfield campus as well, don't they? Yeah. And then the Wessex Lane bus goes directly down Portswood High Street and then into the city. Mayflower, you're in the city, you can get buses back up to Highfield. It's really flexible and easy. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter where you live.
I mean, I was going to say the bus pass. If you haven't gathered, the bus pass it's my #1 underrated feature, and I'm sure you will.
I mean, I did in fact buy it, and I've bought it every year since I've been in halls, so it is perfect because it links up every campus, every hall site, the stations, the airport, and everywhere else you probably need to go in your whole time here.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. Whoever you were, Mr. or Mrs. Party Animal, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, who knew that a bus pass would be the solution to all party questions? It really is. It's such a useful thing to have. Okay, that's all we've got time for now, I think. So I want to thank everyone so much for logging on and watching this session, and to our ambassadors for their excellent insights into being a student here, Raymond especially for the tours, and my little army of accommodation keyboard warriors in the background, and of course Kate, who have helped with answering questions. This session has been recorded, and you will be able to access the recording via the same link that you used to join. So yeah, thank you very much for coming, and we will say goodbye now.